One of the most famous Egyptian street food. In Egypt, we call it Kebda or Kebda Skandarani, referring to Iskandariya, which is Alex City in Egypt. The most famous recipe for Kebda in Egypt, especially in the streets of Egypt. If you walk in Egypt's streets, definitely you'll find one of these Kebda carts. Subscribe for more authentic Egyptian recipes. ويا مليون أهلا وسهلا. Here are the ingredients, mainly beef liver, garlic and pepper. Here I have the beef liver. I asked the butcher to cut it into small pieces this size. You see, it is easier to ask the butcher because cutting the beef liver isn't easy as it breaks apart easily. Skandarani kibda is small like this. I marinate the liver before cooking it. I add 1 spoon of garlic and the squeeze of 1 lemon. Lemon is very important here to remove any odd smell from the liver. And I season it with some of the cumin and the coriander I will use later. This step gives the liver a special taste. I leave it to marinate for a couple of hours. You can leave it for a couple of minutes before cooking or even cook it right away. And this is what I do when I'm on a hurry actually. In a wok over high heat, I add the oil and I use a good amount. This is very important. Then I add the garlic till fragrant. I don't want the garlic to get any color. This might seem a lot of garlic, but actually garlic is the main ingredient here. Then I add the liver. It doesn't take much time. When I add it at the beginning, I make sure that I don't stir it a lot. I just give it a stir and leave it until it's firm. When it reaches this color, I add the vinegar. The vinegar also helps to get rid of any odd smell. I season it with salt, add as much as you like, and ground cumin and ground coriander. Coriander is very important here, and generally cumin and coriander are widely used in the Egyptian cuisine. Here you'll start to notice water coming out of the liver. Leave it over high heat to evaporate. Don't slow cook the liver because it will be rubbery. The last step, I add the pepper because I don't want it to be mushy and I don't want it to lose its color. I mix everything together and I leave it for a couple of minutes and it will be ready. The total time of preparing this dish is 10 minutes. That's why it's so simple and convenient. Super suitable for busy days. As Egyptians, we like to eat it as sandwiches in a kind of Egyptian bread called fino. It is like the baguette but smaller and softer, or in the Egyptian bread. We eat it also along with tahini sauce and pickles. We also can serve it with koshari or pasta red sauce. You'll find the recipe of the koshari here on the channel. And voila, we're ready to serve the kebda, or the Egyptian style beef liver, the most famous Egyptian street food here in Egypt. This time I'll serve it with Egyptian bread. I have here this one and I try to fold it into a boat shape. We call this the boat because it's like the boat. And I try to not cut it because I want to have a good room to put the kebda inside. And as you see here, very carefully, and I fold it. Here I have, and then I have a good room and I add the kebda inside the bread. This is fresh bread, actually, that's why it's easy to fold it. And I like to eat it like this because the bread actually takes the moist from the kebda and it's very flavorful. And voila, here is the kebda. Don't forget to subscribe for more Egyptian recipes and let me know in the comments if you like to see any recipe from Egypt. Thanks for reaching this point. وبالهنا والشفا. Bon appetit, the Egyptian way.